What do you think are the best countries today to invest in property?
Uh, yeah, this is interesting. I've actually got some experience on this subject. Look, I mean, I may have mentioned it on this show, may not have, but I bought my apartment in Hong Kong, right above the Hong Kong Yacht Club, best view of the harbor anywhere, and I got it almost for free, top story, because it was during a China crisis. And the locals figured that the Chinese weren't going to repair the elevators and you'd have to walk up 13 stories. So I got it for less than I would have paid for a crappy ground floor apartment.
Hmm.
And prices were low. I mean, that thing was, by the time I sold it, not counting rental income, what was it, a 30 to 1 shot? Yeah, that's pretty good. Cash
Wow.
on cash, no
Wow.
mortgage, 30 to 1.
Wow.
So, but wait a minute, do I want to buy anything in Hong Kong now? No, I don't. And in Spain, I bought a fantastic apartment in Marbella because Spain was going to join the European Union. This was back before Spain was a member of the EU. I thought this is going to make it really easy for Northern Europeans, Germans, and Scandinavians to come down to where the weather is nice and the sun, because southern Spain, people are unaware of this, is further south than Sicily is. It's the furthest south place in Europe. So I thought this is a great place to be. And Spain was a depressed area. That worked out, pretty well.
That town blew up. I mean, it became like tons of Brits and other
Yeah,
Northern Europeans had places there. Yeah.
exactly. Now the place is bumper to bumper with golf courses. I don't want to be there. I mean, the nature of the place has changed. Okay, that was an opportunity that came and gone. I'm just giving examples of things where I've gotten lucky. And in New Zealand, I went to New Zealand I'd been going to New Zealand, on and off for a long time, but I first went to New Zealand, was it in 1999 or something like that, when it was as cheap as Argentina is right now. The Kiwi dollar was 38 cents US, and any Kiwi with half a brain and the money to buy a ticket to Sydney or LA or London was on that plane to get out of there. Then Roger Douglas turned it around and,
Yep.
it boomed and all this type of thing. So New Zealand was very, very good to me, real estate wise, because I bought a number of things down there. But now New Zealand is turning into like a communist country. And then Argentina and Uruguay. I mean, I made the biggest bet, outsmarted myself in Argentina because we figured, and with some other smart guys that I was involved in that deal with, and we bought not far after the big crisis in 2000, 2001, whenever it was, when it looked like a neutron bomb had gone off over Buenos Aires. Things were so bad, but they got worse real estate wise. So we've lost a lot of money on that. But Uruguay has been good to me, and I guess it's being good to you. But this is all history. People are saying, well, don't tell us about what you won and lost in the past. What do we do now? Okay, I understand. But I'm mentioning these things as an essential preamble for figuring out, well, what do you do next? Because now the world has changed completely, I think, for a number of reasons, but not least of which is this recent COVID hysteria, so what do you do now? Well, recently, SARK, S-A-R-K, the island in the English Channel, has been drawn to my attention. Might be very interesting as a speculation. And here's one. We haven't even talked about this, Matt. The Falkland Islands. Have you ever thought about them?
Well, they've been coming up in the news lately. I guess maybe because it's maybe the anniversary or close to that, but I've seen the headlines about it recently. But I've never been there.
Almost nobody has, and it's hard to get there because the logical place to get there from is Argentina, but the Argentines don't allow that.
Right.
So, and it's inconvenient to get there from Uruguay. But the Falklands are apparently surrounded by a giant oil field that'll be exploited at some point. And nice place to live? No, not really. It would be like living, what would an example? It'd be like living in northern Canada, way northern Canada, where nobody lives. where there's nothing but sheep, and there's not any fine restaurants or anything. But you know, if you if you like being isolated and you live there for 5 years, you become a British citizen with a Falkland endorsement, and you know, when the oil is exploited, they're probably going to make Falklanders multimillionaires. Just a thought, out of the
Wow.
way.
Wow.
You know, but you'd have to go there with capital. I mean, I'd want to go there and build a, you know, big greenhouse so I could have all kinds of fresh fruit and vegetables, and build a proper house and so forth. Maybe more trouble than it's worth. Too weird, huh? And here's one. It's Dubai. Go there now? No, I don't think so, because it's recovered and things are expensive. But when it cyclically has a collapse, of which I can imagine for a number of reasons, maybe you can buy some of those way too many apartments in Dubai. Maybe you can get one for 10 cents on the dollar, 20 cents on the dollar. That could be interesting to watch out for.
There were huge deals available during the GFC, that's for sure.
There were.
So
That's right. And that's when people were, you know, leaving their
cars at the
Porsches
airport.
and Mercedes in the garage, and you know, just getting on a plane before they could be pursued. So all kinds of opportunities.
Okay.
Well, where to go now? The problem with real estate is that it seems to me the whole world is going in the wrong direction. So where do you go other than looking for anomalies like that? I can't think of anything that you've seen or thought about in that direction.
I mean, I think there probably are very localized opportunities in different parts of the world. You know, I mean, I know that a lot of people have done well within real estate in Medellin, Colombia, for instance. You know, I don't know if that's at the top now or not, but
probably not a good time because they just elected a communist. So if there's any way he can screw things up, he will.
Exactly. So I think that there might be unique opportunities, I guess, that are very local, but you don't see any of those really incredible setups like what you described, where your great successes were, you know, in Hong Kong, where basically people didn't value this prime real estate at all. Like they thought it had no value, essentially, when you stepped into it. And, you know, seeing in southern Spain, like seeing clearly what that would mean for that area, like that setup is, you know, was perfect. So I think you kind of got to be patient and be on the lookout for those types of things all the time. But I you know, that it's not obvious that there are any today.
But, you know, maybe Uruguay and Argentina are those things now, because, you know, the Uruguayans could do anything stupid. But, you know, it's like one European friend of ours has pointed out, there's going to be scores of thousands of Europeans that are going to start moving to Uruguay because it's out of the way, it's pleasant, the weather's good. It's in as much as tax havens still exist, it's one of them, kind of. And Uruguay, I mean, it might work out really well. And Argentina, if they get a Pinochet lookalike there, they'd have to grab the unions and the Peronists by the throat and almost strangle them like Pinochet did in Chile. But Argentina could surprise everybody because it's so cheap now.
So cheap.
That'd be interesting.